Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our first story of the day is regarding yesterday's White House press briefing, where Fox News reporter Jackie Heinrich questions Karine Jean-Pierre on why Joe Biden's talking about meal vouchers and hosting a movie night amidst all this chaos that is happening around the United States. Wait for a response, folks. But before we jump into anything, as always, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. The question of the day for the comment section is this: how many illegal immigrants do you think are going to pour across the border every day in Arizona and Texas? Is it 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20,000? We would love to hear from you. Without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
The president, you have laid out all the things that the White House wants to tackle, from the country careening toward a debt limit crisis to, the southern border preparing for up to 12,000 illegal crossings a day, potentially, after Title 42 ends this week. You opened the briefing talking about the crisis of gun violence. Why is the president talking about meal vouchers for canceled flights and holding a movie night at the White House with all those things going on?
Because he's president, and there are multiple things that the president does, and he can talk about the potential manufacturing crisis that House Republicans have put forth, and that could happen if they don't get back to regular order. He can talk about how he's delivering for families. I think the airlines...
Did she just say he could talk about how he's delivering for families? Joe Biden's screwing you, folks, big time. The Democrat Party is really screwing you with this guy in office. But don't worry, he's going to give you the deliverables, folks. He's going to take care of you.
Announcement that the president made is incredibly important to American families across the country. I hope you think so as well. I mean, when you think about what American families have to pay out of pocket because things that are not their fault, this is important. You ask me many times what the president is doing to lower cost for the American people. We just heard from the president. So that is one way that he is using and making sure that the administration works for American families. He should talk about that. He should talk about those things. He should be able to do multiple things as a president, and that's what you're seeing from him today.
We all know Joe Biden can't do multiple things. The guy could barely talk and read from a teleprompter at the exact same time. And you got to love the whole fact that, well, he's having a movie night. My question is what time is this movie night happening? Because we saw from a report from Axios that his own White House aides are having trouble creating a schedule for him outside the realm of like 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Anything outside of those, they can't really schedule the guy for anything because he's sleepy. He doesn't have the stamina that he used to have. That's according to them, not me.
About, Memorial Day flights, but that's 3 weeks away from now. He said, preparing, looking ahead to Memorial Day weekend. So it causes the question of, is the president really focused on today's biggest issues when everyone in here is asking about Title 42, the debt ceiling, mass shooting over the weekend, and we didn't hear the president talk about any of those things.
Damn, Jackie. God, that's why she's the best, man. She's Wonder Woman, folks. That's the nickname we gave her. Look, she goes, hey, it's 3 weeks away. Why is he talking about Memorial Day? Like, what the hell? Amidst of everything going on, really? Memorial Day? That's what the guy wants to talk about? Not the banking crisis that's happening right now with the domino effect of different banks falling apart and having JP Morgan Bank pick up the tab on First Republic Bank. You're not going to talk about Title 42, the massive flood, the tsunami wave that's about to come at the U.S.-Mexico border. You're not going to talk about that. You're not talking about the China and the shenanigans that's going on with them of sending over another balloon that we're supposedly tracking around Hawaii. Lord only knows where that's at. I mean, there's thing after thing after thing, and the guy's holding a movie night talking about meal vouchers. Jackie, phenomenal job, girl.
American families, everyday families, are thinking about Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, God. This is so reminiscent of when like hot dog prices were through the roof. They were talking about like how they were lowering the price of hot dogs. And you should all be stoked about it, right? For 4th of July. Do you guys remember the barbecue? Honestly, anybody in here, you let me know. Honestly, I don't even remember Memorial Day was coming up in 3 weeks. I can't even think that far ahead. All right. Is anybody here like having grand old plans about Memorial Day and really thinking about that right now? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people are like, yeah, Brad, we're all of us in here right now are thinking about Memorial Day. I don't know a single person. It's anecdotal, but hell, what the hell is she talking about? Oh, Americans are really thinking about this right now. No, they're not. No, there's so much crap going on. Who the hell even remembers that Memorial Day is even coming up? I mean, it's a serious holiday, folks, but nonetheless, it's 3 weeks away. Come on.
They are. They are thinking about how are they going to travel with their family, with their kids. They care about what the president said today. So that does matter. Title 42, what's happening on Thursday, the lifting of Title 42, we've been talking about it over and over again for the past several weeks about how we're preparing for the lift of Title 42, the programs that we put in place without the help of House Republicans or House Republicans in Congress more general.
Oh, just Congress more in general. Folks, in the comment section or in the live chat, let's see. House of Representatives. What's the other side of Congress that Democrats have a hold of right now? What's that called? Anybody want to let me know who they are called? It starts with a D and ends with rats. Oh, Democrats. That's right. You see what she does there? She caught herself because she was going to say Democrats. She's like, well, the Congress at large, right? There's Congress at whole, the whole of Congress. We're not going to talk about who has the other side of Congress. Amazing how she does that. And then you got these knuckleheads, right? These leftists just drooling at their mouth, going, oh, yeah, look at her, yeah, it's the Republicans' fault. Oh, it's all Republicans. Yeah, oh, do you see them? Those bigots, those racists. Look at them. They don't want to figure out anything. It's all their fault.
And the debt limit, something that we've been talking about for months. Again, a manufactured crisis. There is a
manufactured crisis? You want to see a manufactured crisis, lady? Look down south that you created at the U.S.-Mexico border, of which Title 42, an actual manufactured crisis, because you guys were the ones that were pushing it. Wait till our second segment, folks. We're going to talk about that whole thing. You literally manufactured this crisis. Like, you literally did it. In the same way you manufactured the crisis on inflation because you pumped out COVID stimulus checks like they were hotcakes. You manufactured all this crap. You literally created a bleep storm, and now you're trying to fix it all, and you can't because the dollar that made the mess, he doo-dooed his pants, can't clean it up. I mean, both literal and metaphorical. The guy duties his pants, he can't clean it up. He duties and craps all of America metaphorically and can't clean it up either. And you're going to tell us it's Republicans that are manufacturing the whole thing? Jesus, this lady's nuts.
process here. Republicans are refusing to use the process. They are refusing to use the process. There's no disconnect. No.
Being the uniter in chief and you
there's
guys
no-
calling out as you always talk
There's no
about it.
disconnect. There's no disconnect. It is
Well done,
very
Jackie.
clear. The president can do multiple things at the same time. He can call out ways that the American people are being harmed by not Congress, House Republicans refusing to do the job that they're supposed to do, something that they have done. Congress has done more broadly, 78 times since 1960. Yes, he's going to call that out. That's regular order to do your job, to do your constitutional duty. And then talk about what we're doing to make it a little bit easier for American families to travel. Yeah, you know what? Some regular folks are thinking about Memorial Day. Some everyday Americans are thinking about how they're going to visit their grandparents, how they're going to visit family members, how they're going to get around the country around Memorial Day weekend. That is incredibly important to American families.
The fact that she has a serious face on it. It's just, that's the best callback that I can remember was the whole 4th of July barbecue event that your hot dogs are going to be a little bit cheaper by a few cents. I actually remember Peter Doocy calling her out on that. The same thing here. The dude's talking about meal vouchers and holding a movie night that he's probably not going to stay awake for at the White House. Amid all this crap that's taking place. That's why it always bugged me when certain presidents, even like Trump did this all the time, he would go out golfing and the guy still did a better job of running things than Joe Biden did. But the point I'm trying to make is when there's bleep hitting the fan, the PR, the public relations side of it, the image of the president doing certain things, you'd have to think like, hey, you know what? Maybe we probably shouldn't host a movie night right now. Things are kind of rough. Maybe we probably shouldn't do this. Maybe we shouldn't have the president being locked in the basement the entire time. Maybe we should have him chauffeured around the country talking about whatever's important to him. He can't do any of that. But don't worry, guys. He can do two things at once. Oh, yeah. No, he can't. That's why nobody ever sees him. That's why he doesn't do interviews, because he can't talk and chew gum at the same time. Usually it's chew gum and walk at the same time. He can't do that either. It's everything. Just lump it all in. He can't do it. Let us know what you think about that in the comment section below. Folks, really, honest to God, are you really thinking about Memorial Day? I am laughing at you because I know I'm not. I honestly God forgot that it was coming up in it's 3 weeks ahead. Let's focus on the now a little bit, huh? We got enough to worry about in this country. Memorial Day coming up. Jesus. Moving into our next story that I got, if you weren't hitting your head against the wall already, well, you're definitely going to hit your head against the wall now, because we have DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, the bald-headed guy, the knucklehead, the guy that's running the border practically, the guy that told Congress that the border is secure, is on Face the Nation right now. I'm going to try my best to just watch this all the way through. I know it's not going to happen. I'm going to have to comment here and there, but God, you guys, just listen to the pure evil that's from this guy. I mean, I really do believe this. I think this guy's up there with Adam Schiff. And if you all didn't know, behind the scenes, there's a lot of people in Congress that have had many interactions, we'll say, with Adam Schiff, Democrat of California, because we just produced knuckleheads like Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff. I've heard this guy is like really evil. Watching DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas here just consistently lie about things, to me, honest to God, is evil. It really is. It really is. Again, the question of the day, folks, is how many illegal immigrants do you think are going to pour across the border each and every day? I'm talking about not just the gotaways, the known gotaways, but I'm talking about the ones that are actually apprehended. 20,000? 25? Let me know.
For more, we're joined now by the Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas. It's good to have you here in person, sir.
Good morning, Margaret.
Before we get to migration, I want to ask, do you have any...
Good morning, Margaret. Wait till I lie to you, Margaret. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know without ever telling you anything. I learned it from Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
Information about this latest mass shooting in Texas, which may have been with an AR-15 style weapon.
Margaret, another horrific tragedy in our country. I spoke with the governor last night, as well as the mayor. The matter is still under investigation.
No information about the shooter?
No, Margaret. I think it's under investigation. The state and local authorities are leading that investigation.
Actually, a pretty good answer. Pretty good answer. Hey, we don't really know what's going on because the media is pushing this whole white supremacy thing, right? Because they have a narrative they need to push with all these mass shootings. They're very selective on which ones they choose. We all have seen that now. Pretty good answer of like, hey, you know what? There's an investigation taking place. He doesn't want to speak out of hand. And wait till the evidence comes out. God, shocker. Great answer. I'm actually shocked right now that we're starting off on a good note 30 seconds in. Damn. Let's see if it continues.
Let's get to the border. This is the greatest migration surge, you said, in the Western Hemisphere since World War II. And you've been preparing for more than a year and a half. How rough will the next few weeks be?
You know, Margaret, we've been preparing for this for more than a year and a half. You are correct. And it is indeed a regional challenge, and it requires a regional response, which is why we are working so closely with many countries to the south. It's going to take our plan a while to really take hold, for people to understand that they can access lawful, safe, orderly pathways before they reach the border. And quite frankly, if they come to the border, they will receive a consequence under our enforcement authorities.
So,
No, they won't. Shut up. Does anybody believe that? Honestly? Really? You know, the consequences, you get in the back of a pickup truck, a helicopter, a plane, we'll fly you wherever you want. Come aboard, folks. Come on in. Water's great. Come on, man. We ain't gonna do anything. Get out of here. And you gotta love the fact that like
We got to get the message out. We got to get the message out to people so that they could be in their own country and do this stuff.
Look, the message was already out. It was under the Trump administration. And you got to also love the fact of like, well, we've been preparing for a year and a half. Why? The border's secure. What is there to prepare for? The border's secure. You guys caused this mess, and now you're just creating more of a mess is what it is.
you are, as an administration, setting up processing centers in Colombia and Guatemala so migrants can start the asylum process before they make it to the border. But those aren't set up yet. When will those be functional?
So we are furthest along with Colombia. It should be a matter of weeks, but we also have additional lawful pathways that already have existed for people to access.
The phone apps you're talking about?
Yes, the parole program for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. We are expanding our family reunification programs.
So you have announced 1,500 troops that are going to El Paso, Texas. Why not other parts of the border? Is Texas the most porous
Great question.
area?
Well, they will be dispersed as operational needs require. And so the deployment of active duty troops is not to do enforcement work, not to interact with the migrants, but to provide other support so that our Border Patrol agents can be out in the field.
The governor of Arizona.
Folks, they're sending 1,500 troops with a migration that we, again, according to her, haven't seen since World War II. In any of our lifetimes, we haven't seen something like this. They're going to send 1,500 troops. There was nowhere near the amount of illegal immigration happening under Donald Trump, and he sent like 5,300 to the border, 5,200, 5,300, something like that. So the Biden administration is not taking anything seriously. They want this to happen. You got this guy, oh, well, we've been planning for a year and a half. And then you don't have anything up and running? A year and a half? Really? No, you haven't.
Arizona and the senior senator told us that the federal government is unprepared. Senator Sinema said Homeland Security is not sharing information with her or local law enforcement on numbers of migrants, processing time, and available buses to transport them. The governor.
I've seen this guy enough. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to predict his answer. Because he's done this charade all the time where somebody presents something to him of like, hey, they're saying they're not getting funding. Hey, they're not getting any help. They're actually not getting any communication from you. Because he's received a very similar question before when talking to Congress. He's going to say, no, we are doing those things. They're just misinformed. They don't know what they're talking about. We are actually doing those things. I hope I'm right. Let's see.
The governor also said she needs more urgency and she can't get specific information on dollars for emergency shelters. Why isn't that kind of specific detail being shared?
Well, I respectfully disagree with the senator and the governor. Number one, we are prepared. As we noted at the very beginning of our conversation, we've been preparing for this for quite some time. We tried to end Title 42 repeatedly, and we're stopped from doing so by the court.
Did I just hear that correctly? Because in the first segment, for those that were joining us, Karine Jean-Pierre is talking about the raising of the debt ceiling, the limit, as being a manufactured crisis by Republicans. Did he just say that Title 42, they tried to repeal it and expire it many times? We're going back.
Very beginning of our conversation, we've been preparing for this for quite some time. We tried to end Title 42 repeatedly, and we're stopped from doing so by the courts. So we are prepared, number one.
You created the bleep storm. You just said it right out there in the open. You did this yourself. I can't do this anymore. It's just... What do you say? The dude just said, hey, we just this ourselves. Yeah. Hey, not only did we try to create this bleep storm once, we actually tried many times. We really did. We tried many times to just screw this country over. And finally, we got it to go through. All the while, literally in the first segment, Karine Jean-Pierre's ripping on Republicans for creating a manufactured crisis. And this guy literally just said blatantly on national television that they just manufactured an actual crisis to the border themselves. And she's not going to follow up. Of course she's not. It's the media. They're rubbing the Democrats' shoulders. Holy lordy, folks. Get yourself a cup if you haven't already. Holy Lord, hey, while we're at it, why not plug the book? It couldn't be any more timely. Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. You literally just heard it from the horse's mouth themselves. Manufactured crisis happening at the southern border.
Number two, we have a migration information center that is specifically set up to communicate with state and local officials, and we have been doing so. We are using our FEMA regional coordinators as our key points of contact. I spoke with Senator Sinema, I think within the last 2 weeks, and our personnel are in touch with other officials on a regular basis.
She said she had been in touch with Homeland Security, also with the White House, but the information was not adequate. So do you think there is a communication problem here?
Nope.
I do not. And if there is a question that has been unanswered, we will answer it. I will tell you, though, let's take a step back. Because there's a very important message not to communicate only to Senator Sinema, but to all senators and all members of the House of Representatives. We need immigration reform. Everything that the Department of Homeland Security is.
That part I do agree with, but as you can imagine, he's just going to continue in lie and spread a bunch of rumors and stuff that isn't true about the border. You're about to see a massive bleep storm hit the 11th and anything after. But don't worry, folks. It's going to take a few weeks for them to get the immigration figured out in the other countries, even though it should have happened a year and a half ago when they said they started this whole thing. So let us know. Again, the question of the day is about how many illegal immigrants do you think? Leave a number in the comment section, not just the live chat, but the comment section. It really does support the channel. Moving into our last story of the day. Again, we've been hitting our heads against the wall in the first segment and the second segment. Wait till this one, folks. Talk about hitting your head against the wall. This person's done it a lot. Mayor Lori Lightfoot blames racism, right-wing forces for devastating loss in Chicago. She's blaming racism now. Jesus. You guys, it's the same thing over again, right? All the time. Oh, you're sexist, you're bigot, you're a transphobe, you're racist. All this stupid nonsense, like this name calling, right? Because there's no real thinking behind it, really. So, I'm going to try to get through this without laughing. Chicago Democratic Mayor Lori Lightfoot contended that the landslide defeat against her re-election campaign could be attributed to right-wing forces and racial bias. Yeah, couldn't be the fact that you sucked at your job, that literally you ran an entire city into the ground. That can't be it. It must be racism. Lightfoot, who overwhelmingly won the city's mayoral election 4 years ago. Yeah, it just took 4 years, folks, to crumble a city. Less than 4 years, by the way, about a year. She literally destroyed an entire city in a year. That's Democrats. That's Democrat policy for you, destroying cities. That's what they do. And they're going to start with the cities, and they're going to do the entire country. You're seeing it with the knucklehead at the helm right now named Joe Biden. But failed to advance to the runoff this year, will depart office next week. I mean, I'm sure people in Chicago couldn't be more happy. Took a long-ass time to try to get her out of office, let me tell you. She will be succeeded by Brandon Johnson, the left-wing former commissioner of Cook County, who defeated Paul Vallas, the more moderate former chief executive of Chicago Public Schools. So, I mean, you're basically swapping out a knucklehead with another knucklehead. Lightfoot said in Monday interview with MSNBC that she lost because of national political, basically, turmoil that caused divisions in Chicago, which she admitted is a deep blue Democratic city. So your own people voted you out. So I guess the Democrats are the racists then? Is that how that works? We came up short, but I leave my office with my head held high. That in your forehead. That was mean. I'm sorry. Don't laugh. I'm sorry. Look, if you saw the photo of how she looked before she went in office to after, it says everything right there you need to know about that city of Chicago. What we, I think, taught our city and taught the country is how to operationalize equity. Oh, okay. Whether it's historic investments in affordable housing, the environment, our youth, coming up with a public safety that wasn't just dependent upon law enforcement first and only. All those worked out great, didn't they? God, if you could create a plan of what not to do, this was it right here. Just do the opposite of what she did, what she just listed, and you're probably going to be okay. It's like looking at somebody throughout your life that's constantly making mistakes and making bad decisions. All you have to do is go, I'm going to do the exact opposite as that guy or that gal. You're going to be okay. Just do the exact opposite as Democrats. You're going to flourish. Lawlessness, nevertheless, because she's claiming, they're not only dependent on law enforcement, but, public safety. Well, lawlessness, nevertheless, rose dramatically during Lightfoot's 4-year tenure. There was 490 homicides in the Windy City as of 2019, the year in which Lightfoot assumed office. You sitting down? So 2019, 490 murders. Murders soared to 772 in 2020, and they weren't done. And 800 in 2021. So in 2 years, they almost doubled the homicides while she was mayor. But they did a whole bunch of good things, folks. And racism. Don't forget, it's racism while she's out of office. Marking an increase of more than 58% as a nationwide Black Lives Matter protest occurred in the wake of the George Floyd death. Lightfoot, who is a personal police unit with 71 officers assigned to protect her life, meanwhile proposed eliminating $80 million from the Chicago Police Department budget. It's always amazing. You saw the same thing with the border wall, right? When you had Donald Trump as president, say we need a border wall. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna have Trump. You can get in. You can come through the Brightwood Gate. It's beautiful. We can all see it. But Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, the Democrat Party doesn't want the beautiful wall. He wanted a nice wall, and then the Democrats go, well, we don't want a wall. We want a fence. And they're like, walls don't work. All the while, literally, they have security walls around their houses, around the Capitol, around the White House, everywhere there's walls and fences, whatever you want to call them, they work. Same thing here. She wants to defund the police. All the while, she has 71 police officers assigned to protect her life with guns. All the while, they want to sit there and disarm average Americans. MSNBC contributor Al Sharpton, is that guy back? Al Sharpton is back? Can he just go away? Why is he always, he's such a race baiter. Al Sharpton is such a race baiter. Asked Lightfoot whether she believes her race, no. You guys, you would think like, nah, Brad has to watch all the videos we see all the way through. He has to read every article all the way through. No. I pick out articles and maybe read the first paragraph. I go, this will be a cool reaction. This will be a good commentary thing to talk about. That's all it is. There's not much prep that goes into this. I have a lot of time. It takes a lot of prep to find these articles, but you're seeing a real-time reaction when I read this. You gotta love it. So I said Al Sharpton is a race baiter, and he asks a race question. Lightfoot, whether she believes her race played a role in her defeat, even though her successor is also black. Oh, God. You can't make this up. Freaking racist! The guy's black, too, that got elected. Yeah, God, I'm sweating. You guys are so hot in here. Oh, my God. So... It's racism! It's racism! The freaking next guy in office is black! And you're gonna shout racism! It shows you how meaningless it's gotten. Oh my God, these idiots. Oh, forgive me. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. So Lightfoot, who has repeatedly cited her race and her self-identification as a lesbian when describing her defeat, claimed that the re-election strategy of former President Donald Trump relied on attacking cities and mayors like herself, referencing Keisha Lance Bottoms of Atlanta and Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C. Yes, because they suck at their jobs, just like you did, and that's why you're out, because you suck at your job. Quote, there's no question, Reverend Al, that there are some people in Chicago and across the country that don't want mayors like me to succeed. Correct! Correct, because you suck! Probably the most truthful response is ever coming out of her mouth. When the person with the biggest megaphone and the biggest stage attacks you in a way that Trump attacks us, it unleashes a set of forces that are hard to control. Like people just going out and voting for somebody that they want because you've done a crappy job. Maybe that type of force. Those dog whistles that were blown in 2020 are still resonating today. Shut up. No, they aren't. And it was fed by the uncertainty and the anger, and then funded by right-wing forces that wanted to take down a big city mayor. A big city mayor. We're all laughing at you. Like literally, you were like the epitome of Democratic failure. That's why we're talking about you. That's why we talk about Bowser. That's why we talk about Democrat-ran cities, because they're all crumbling. Look at Los Angeles, look at Portland, look at Washington, D.C. I mean, you picked the Democrat-ran era, Chicago, prime examples of how your policies suck. Suck. That's why California's seeing a mass exodus. That's why everybody's going to red states. Nobody's going to blue states. You'll get some people in there, but they're idiots. They're making wrong decisions. Lightfoot acknowledged that her successor is even more left-wing than herself, even as she said Republicans had conspired to end her career. Quote, unfortunately, the people who were jumping on the bandwagon of a Republican, posing like a Democrat now, got a Democratic socialist as the mayor. So be careful what you wish for. Another truthful thing, that last part isn't wrong. You literally voted for one knucklehead for another one. And how many times have we talked about this on the Bald Brad Show? Honest to God, where I said they're going to vote for a Democrat that put them in the office that creates problems, and they can't fix the problems they created, so they go to the voting booth and they vote in another Democrat because that guy promised to solve their problems, but it's just going to exacerbate them. That's Democrat thinking for you. It's insane. It's circular. Don't get me wrong. It's circular, but it is insane nonetheless. By definition, actually insane to expect a different result, but the same result of which you thought was going to change keeps happening. That's Democrats for you. So the country is going to go down the drain because you got Democrats running the show. You got massive illegal immigration. You just name the issue, folks. You name the issue. Okay, something's going to happen of it. Like I said, head over to baldbrad.com or Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Nobles. Pick yourself up a copy. Great Memorial Day gift, according to Karine Jean-Pierre in the White House. pick yourself up a copy, a friend, neighbor, family member. There's birthdays all the time, folks. Get yourself or friend a copy of this. Get yourself a mug, folks. I hope you're drinking coffee with me in the morning. Got the nice bald Bradshaw. I don't know if I can get that in the angle here. But, folks, that ain't coming off. Let me tell you. I wash this after every drink.
I'll tell you one thing's phenomenal. It's good. It couldn't be more refreshing. It's best. It's freedom. It's what freedom tastes like out of a mug. You even got the Washington Memorial, and by that I mean you got the American flag. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about with Washington Memorial.
I'm having fun with you folks. Hey, as always, hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the join tab. Join us, folks. Thank you so much for all the contributions you guys are sending. You guys send in the live chat. I don't know what they're called. They're called super chats or something like that. It's a way to donate. We'd love for you to join us. If not, hey, leave us a comment section below. Again, the question of the day is, how many illegal immigrants are coming across the border each and every day when Title 42 expires? 11,000, 15,000, 20,000? Let us know in the comment section below, and we'll see you tomorrow here on the Bob Bradshaw.